I don't know whether the seeking always some big and dramatic thing is really the way forward.
Today, Cardinal Thomas Collins, Archbishop of Toronto, downplayed the need for a papal apology, despite Indigenous leaders and Canadian politicians asking for one for years.
Move forward on apologizing.
Those calls intensified last week, with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also urging the Church to release any residential school documents.
Before we have to start taking the Catholic Church to court, I am very hopeful that religious leaders will understand.
Today on Rosemary Barton Live, Collins took issue with it all.
No one that I know of is trying to hide records. I think those are extremely unhelpful remarks by Mr. Trudeau and uninformed.
The federal government hit back.
That it's unhelpful for the Cardinal to call the Prime Minister's remarks unhelpful.
Documents from the Catholic order that ran the Kamloops residential school are being scoured by archivists. And earlier this week, the Vancouver Archbishop committed to sharing the records it has related to all residential schools. The former national chief of the Assembly of First Nations had this to say about the Cardinal today.
He's a holy man. I'm sure he wouldn't lie, but he can fudge the truth a little bit.
Phil Fontaine is also a residential school survivor. He says there is a lot that's still hidden.
There are records yet to be accessed in different parts of the country.
Our elder wants to.
In 2009, Fontaine met with former Pope Benedict, who didn't say sorry either.
There ought to be a full apology from the Holy Father.
The Roman Catholic Church operated up to 70% of residential schools. The rest were run by United, Anglican, and Presbyterian churches. They have all issued apologies. Rafi Bujikanian, CBC News, Ottawa.
We will dive into the issue of church and government records, including key documents that were lost or destroyed, and some revealing documents shared with CBC News later in the hour. On the issue of a formal apology, today former Senator Murray Sinclair, who also chaired the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, said it's a first step the Catholic Church cannot skip.
They want to go straight to redemption in the sense that they want to be freed from any further acknowledgement of liability or responsibility without having in fact admitted that they did anything wrong.
He called that inadequate and said an apology was necessary in a reconciliation process that would be taken seriously. So the big question is, why didn't Pope Francis apologize today? The CBC's Megan Williams has covered the Vatican extensively and explains what a Canadian cardinal told her today.
Pope Francis met yesterday with the two Canadian cardinals who live here in Rome, Cardinal Mark Willett and Cardinal Michael Cherney. He met with them separately, and Vatican observers say it's highly unusual for the Pope to meet with both of these cardinals on the same day, and it was very likely that the topic of their conversation was the discovery of the remains of the children in the residential school run by the Catholic Church in Kamloops. Right after Pope Francis made his comments in St. Peter's Square this morning, I spoke on the phone with Canadian Cardinal Michael Cherney, and I asked him why Pope Francis had not apologized, and he told me that that wasn't a priority right now. What the Pope's priority was responding to the situation unfolding in Canada right now, namely to what he said was the pain, the dismay, and the hurt. He also said that the Pope wanted to encourage the Canadian Catholic Church to respond to the situation, the Canadian bishops, perhaps for them to issue a formal apology first. Interestingly, Michael Cherney said he thought the Pope had apologized to Indigenous people in Canada, that was part of an apology the Pope made several years ago in Bolivia when he apologized to the Indigenous people of the Americas, meaning both North America and South America. Of course, a lot of Canadians aren't going to see it that way, but that is the response right now from the Catholic Church here in Rome.
Megan Williams in Rome tonight.